Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Let's just jump right into it, man. How about this? Richard Torrez and Frank Sanchez. Now, this is a fascinating matchup. They're going to be fighting this weekend on that Usyk undercard. And I'll be honest with you, man. Some people are saying, hey, Hood, Frank Sanchez is going to win. I think Torrez is going to beat Frank Sanchez. I know some people are probably shocked to hear me say that. It's a fascinating matchup. Both of these guys are talented. But I know Frank Sanchez has more experience. He's technically polished, Cuban, amazing fighter, patient, can box, counterpunch, has power, very dangerous with his counters. But, man, I'm leaning towards Richard Torrez Jr. I know some of y'all are saying Hood Champion's taking it to the stupid. But Torrez just, something about that pressure, that awkward rhythm, the work rate toughness, southpaw angles, relentless energy. I'm not saying he's Cabello. I'm just saying Cabello showed me something with Frank Sanchez. If you can hit him, you can keep pressure on him, Frank Sanchez will unravel. Now, of course, they said something was wrong with Frank Sanchez in that fight. I mean, I don't know. All you can do is trust what they say. You can't verify it, but I know this. If Frank Sanchez gets in that ring with Torrez and deep down he doesn't want to be there or there's something going on with him that's precluding him from performing, he's going to lose. Sanchez is a really good boxer. I just think he kind of reminds me of Luis Ortiz. These Cuban boxers come over here, they're good, and they just don't get the opportunities they deserve. But he's still a really good fighter, man, but he fights at a pace that allows aggressive fighters to steal the momentum, and I think Torrez Jr. is going to steal the momentum. This isn't going to be a Jared Anderson versus Martin Bakole type moment where Anderson steps up to the big boys, elite fighters, special fighters, really good fighters, and flops. Nah, I think Torrez is going to get up there, rise to the occasion, and get a win. But if he loses, I wouldn't be shocked either. I'm just telling you, Torrez fights like a man trying to drown opponents. And in heavyweight boxing, activity matters. Torrez is the Olympic pedigree, confidence, momentum, fan support, youth advantage. I just think Frank Sanchez can't afford slow starts, inactivity, getting backed up. Because Torrez will turn the fight ugly and physically real quick. Now, one fight that's going to get ugly real quick. You see, Hamzah Sheeraz is facing this guy, Begic. Shiraz is Turki Alalshikh's boy. When Turkey's in the house every day, it's Thanksgiving. Very interesting fighter, man. They saw what he did to Edgar Berlanga, knocked him out. I mean, he really hurt Berlanga. Berlanga says he feels that Hamzah Sheeraz had on illegal wraps. That's why Hamzah Sheeraz wasn't taking those wraps off inside the ring. And he does make a pretty good case to create suspicion around Hamzah Sheeraz, putting the bing-bings on him. But the reality is, and what we know is when it comes to size, composure, timing, punching power, ability to box, that's Hamzah Sheeraz. And he's a damn giant at 168 pounds, 6'4", like a damn 78-inch reach or something like that. So if he beats Begic, Hamzah Sheeraz for sure is next for Canelo. Canelo just has to beat Bertabiev. But let's just hold our horses and not take it to the stupid for a second. Canelo and Sheeraz. This shit is stylistically terrifying for Canelo. He beats him Billy, and then now he got to come and Sheeraz has to beat Begic, impressively, of course. But then now Turki Alalshikh pushes Sheeraz in front of Canelo. Reach advantage, saw what Crocker did. Height advantage, we saw what Bivol did. And then you take that he's younger and has a natural size, so basically you're getting a a Bivol advantage and Crawford advantage right there inside of Hamzah Sheeraz. And he has more of a reach advantage than the other two, and he has more than a height advantage. I just think it's just, again, a stylistic nightmare. Stylistic. And Canelo struggles against most disciplined movers, taller boxers, elite jab users. We saw a lot of this with Bivol, Mayweather, Crawford. But just imagine a young, hungry, confident giant throwing combinations from long range. Well, Canelo just can't reach him. And Canelo, look, Canelo's a bad boy. I got a lot of respect for Canelo, but he just been at this game for a long time. I don't know how much fight he has left in him, especially against somebody who's gonna be throwing combinations from a distance and throwing with ill intent. I just think the fight's dangerous because it's not just Shiraz is tall and has the reach. It's because he can actually fight people. So put some respect on Shiraz's name. Now, someone else who can fight, Amanda Serrano's facing Hanson. I believe it's this weekend. But one of the most respected women in combat sports, Amanda Serrano. She can do MMA, she can box, she's battle tested, she's intelligent, she's durable, technically sharp. She's got it, man. Now, of course, we all expect her to win and overwhelm her opponent. But the bigger discussion now is, should Serrano even focus on or even think about entertaining Alycia Baumgardner right now? You know, this whole thing with Alycia and Claressa and the slap controversy and the atmosphere around women's boxing feeling chaotic. It's emotional, toxic right now. I'm hearing some people saying Amanda Serrano should just stay away from Alycia and go ahead and chase her goals of getting the record for the most knockouts. I think Christy Martin has the record, but Serrano wants to surpass her. Like, just go and do that and don't worry about AB. You know what I mean? They're just like, focus on the legacy fights, focus on history, breaking records, and just retire. If there's no real championship opportunities, nothing that's going to be a major event, just, you know, have fun your last couple of fights and just bounce from boxing, man. Because this stuff with Alycia Baumgardner, you know, her and Serrano's, it had some of us interested. You know, it was hyping up a little bit and getting some momentum, but just think the back and forth between AB and Claressa, it just put AB in a kind of space to where maybe Jake Paul doesn't want to have someone like AB fight Serrano right now. Maybe Serrano's like, I don't really want nothing to do with that. Because, you know, fight weeks, if they make the fight, all the questions are going to be about Claressa Shields. You know, that's just what the media does. It's going to be about Claressa Shields. And Amanda, what do you think about, you know, AB and Claressa? And what are your thoughts? And what would you have done? And how do you feel about this when it comes to women's boxing? She don't want to talk about no damn Claressa Shields. Period. She don't want that. She doesn't want to be pulled into unnecessary controversy. She don't want that shit. She built a respected image over years. She's not going to come and just take this one fight, have her respected image thrown away, because she's going to get pulled into them questions and conversations. And Amanda Serrano, you can tell she wants to say things, she just chooses not to. But someone's going to be able to pull it out of her. And then you're going to have Claressa now putting the goddamn goat mouth on Serrano. And you can pull her into some bullshit. And now Claressa, again, has spread the goat coronavirus. And now Serrano's been affected. So I kind of agree. Serrano should just stay away from all of that bullshit until it dies down. I mean, she at the end of her career. Go out there and fight some legacy fights, break records, and just have fun. I wouldn't even worry about her fighting AB. But, you know, we'll see what she does, what Jake Paul and Nikisa do. But I wouldn't do it. I'd have to do something else. Now, Bam Rodriguez is back fighting Vargas. Now, this is a massive fight for Bam Rodriguez. Vargas as well. But more for Bam, because if Bam beats Vargas, then Bam and Inoue, that's the fight that's looming over everything. You see, Bam, he wants mega fights. He's already in the pound-for-pound conversations. And I'm not going to say he's headed for he's reached superstardom, but he's heading that direction. But he's got to look spectacular against Vargas and not just win, dominate. Because Inoue is viewed by many as, you know, the best pound-for-pound right now. He's a monster, generational puncher, technically near perfect. So for Bam, he's got to do something that's going to get the juices flowing to make people feel he can even stand a chance against Inoue. Fans already fear that Inoue may destroy most opponents put in front of him. They're like, you put somebody in front of Inoue, he's going to knock him down, he's going to destroy him. So Bam has to prove that he belongs at that level. He can handle that elite pressure, and he can command respect physically. I'm just being honest with you. And I like Bam. But him going up to fight anyway, it's a little bit different. But I'm not saying he won't win. I'm just saying it's a little bit different. But at the end of the day, what he has control over is his next performance, and he can't afford a weak performance. That will damage his momentum. So we'll see how that goes with Bam. But I know the talks are going right now for Bam and Inoue to fight. And I hope they can make it, because that would be a really good fight. Now, a fight that's coming up no one's really talking about, but it may be entertaining, kind of a freak show. Tommy Fury versus Eddie Hall. Eddie Hall, the former world's strongest man. He's enormous. He's explosive, physically terrifying. Slow at wide punches, though. Tommy Fury's an actual boxer, more mobile, more experienced in combat. But fans are just watching, and I'm watching too, because I'm like, Eddie Hall is a big guy, man. You know, if he can land a clean shot, he could change everything. There's a lot of weight behind those punches, man. But this is chaos marketing, and it's getting Tommy Fury a big payday, Eddie Hall a big payday. People are going to tune in, and nobody really expects for either one to win or lose. Like, nobody cares who wins or loses, because neither one really matter. It's just entertainment. And I think people will get their money's worth. I see Tommy Fury running around the ring and shit, like some Tom and Jerry shit, because Eddie Hall is a big, big guy, man. Anyway, for the ladies, you got Oshae Jones against Carranza. Oshae Jones is just, quietly building momentum. They get the amateur pedigree, ring IQ, discipline, got balance. This is the type of fight where I think she needs to look dominant, be sharp, and just keep doing the business, man. Women's boxing is becoming more competitive, more visible. Every performance matters, and Oshae Jones has an opportunity to keep growing her profile and keeping herself in the spotlight for all the right things. Then you got Crocker and Paro. Dangerous fight. Aussie. Oi. We know Paro, man, he brings pressure, accuracy, brings confidence. And I like the way he's evolved his style, man. He kind of reminds me of a little Australian Lomachenko now. But then Crocker brings explosiveness, aggression, and power. So the bottom line in this fight, I expect violence, because both of them guys are going to let their hands go. But this is a time of matchup where one mistake changes everything. But if Paro can get a big win, he's up and away and back into the mix. His career is kind of, slowed down just a bit. But I do think Paro is just one win away from being thrown back into the mix with all the big names. Now, talking about somebody who doesn't need to be thrown back into the mix with anything, should be thrown into a retirement home, Paulie Malignaggi. I ain't gonna lie, man, I feel bad for Paulie, but this is what he wants to do. He's chasing money. He's trying to get himself set up to permanently relocate to Sicily, but still keep everything he has in the United States. But this bare knuckle shit, a lot of fans felt bad for him. I felt bad for Paulie, not this fight, the one before, where his face was all like Freddy Krueger got a hold of him. That shit was hard to watch, And then to see him get knocked out the way he did, it's just all bad. And that little weird triangle ring, that shit is just, there's no space for that man to do what he needs to. He can't run, he can't move, he can't box. I mean, basically fighting in a telephone booth. And he will always lose. But also, something to take into consideration is size difference. The guy he fought outweighed him like by 30 pounds on fight night. It's crazy. Bare knuckle is brutal enough already. So then you think about Paulie's age at 45, the wear and tear on him, the size disadvantage. I mean, it was a recipe for him to get punished the way he did. And don't get anything wrong here. We all respect Paulie's toughness. Paulie's a real one. He has a respect of everyone. He's come out of that darkness where people thought he was a racist. They've regained a lot of respect for Paulie. But one thing they're saying, he just needs to stay away from these fights now. Just stop. You don't need to do it before you get yourself killed. Because he getting that again, he may get killed. It's bare knuckles, man. He's getting hit flush, and he's not able to stand up to that shit. Plus, these guys are rehydrating to a weight that's outrageous. Now, talking about somebody who could end up having an outrageously successful career is Emiliano Vargas. He's going to be fighting Mills. And let me tell you, he is approaching a major turning point. If he wins impressively, elite competition is next. You know what I mean? He's ranked high in these sanctioning bodies, man. The pressure is increasing. The expectations are exploding. He's got charisma, got power, got confidence, got that offensive style. The ladies like him. But you know what? All that's good. But now comes the hard part. Stepping from prospect to contender, that's a transition that breaks many fighters, because now you're not in there with these fights you're expected to win. You get yourself thrown in there with somebody who's hungry like yourself, and you gotta prove your worth. And I just think for Vargas, as long as he stays locked in, I think it's up and away for him, because he's got something special. I'm telling you, you can see it. He's got something special about him. But at the end of the day, if he ain't locked in, all that shit could come crumbling down, because he got a target on his back, because he's Fernando Vargas Jr., Fernando Vargas' son. And people want to get that Vargas scalp. But anyway, I'm rooting for Vargas, Emiliano Vargas, man. I think he's going to do the business. Now, a fight that I'm really excited about, but I think it's going to be one way, is Jose Valenzuela against Edwin De Los Santos, too. Let me tell you something, man. This shit is going to be violent. Violent. It's a nightmare rematch for Valenzuela, in my opinion. Edwin De Los Santos hasn't been the most active, not his problem, but he delivers in the gym. The man hits like a truck. Valenzuela already knows what that Dominican power feels like, so you think the psychological edge matters, and it's going to go to De Los Santos. But fans also remember that, Valenzuela, he did hurt De Los Santos as well. But in Valenzuela's most recent fight, he looked badly bruised. Although he won, he just looked like he getting hit a little bit more since he left Benavidez Sr. I mean, I just don't know how well he fares against De Los Santos. You know what I mean? Because he was taking shots in his last fight, and I'm like, hell, if De Los Santos hits him with those, he's going to be knocked out. I just think that's dangerous, because De Los Santos already knocked him out before. You know what I mean? So some fights stylistically feel cursed for certain fighters, and this just may be one of them. Anyway, I'm glad they made the fight, but we just got to understand, when it comes to Zuffa boxing, De Los Santos and Valenzuela, they both signed to Zuffa, and Zuffa boxing is changing the game. Fans are noticing immediately Zuffa's not protecting these fighters, man. They're making dangerous fights, risky matchups, true 50-50 contests. You're getting drama in these fights, not dominance. And that's exciting for fans. But for these fighters, it got to be terrifying, because you're going to get in a fight you can lose. But I tell you what, under this Zuffa model, you can't coast. There ain't no coming in there and just breezing out. You got to earn your money. But you might also lose your position real quickly. So you get through your 3 fights, 4 fights, whatever deal you sign, and hopefully you have a winning record. They keep you, or they could drop your ass. But just knowing this, they got to understand there's urgency here for them to get the job done. There's going to be drama. There's a lot of pressure. But all that creates excitement for the boxing fans. So, just honestly, I think this is what boxing fans have been begging for. We want drama in the ring. We don't want dominance. And I think that's what Zuffa is going to give them. Anyway, y'all keep cool. It's the boxing roll-up. I'll just save that for the next video. Just know I'm in the breeze.